Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Theravada Buddhism series, Dhamma talk number 24. Four causes of materiality of the body, part 2. In the last Dhamma talk, we have discussed the first two of the four causes of the materiality of the body. The remaining two causes, climate and food, we'll be discussing today. I try to explain the causes by using modern day available information so that we can understand with clarity. This talk comes out of a question from a yogi wanting me to explain how the mind can cause or produce or make material rupa, matter. And I thought to explain that, it would be better to explain fully all the four causes. The third cause is climate. In Pali, Uttu, U-T-U, Uttu, climate. The Buddha said, climate also produces materiality in our body. Climate is a year-round dominant pattern of temperature, pressure, and humidity of the environment or region we live in. To understand the production of the materiality of our body, by climate, let's look into the big picture of modern human migration. Anthropologists have indicated that modern human migrated from Africa continent to the remaining world starting around 50,000 years ago up to about 12,000 years. That's a period, about 40,000 years. Humans are migrating from Central Africa to around the world. People who are living in Central Africa have dark skin and a certain physiological profile. Probably that is the most likely pattern and structure of our ancestor who were living around 50,000 years ago, dark skin and a certain African features. However, the skin color, tone, and physiological profile of the people who had migrated to temperate and cold climates had changed over tens of thousands of years span. The people migrated to cold climates, temperate climates, lived there for tens of thousands of years in those places. And that climate changed how they look, how they do, how their structure is. This is due to long exposure to new climates and adapting and coping to the new environments. Human of 50,000 years ago of Africa now look quite different in terms of color of the skin and the structure, profile of the body based on where they live. Their skin become paler, white, or yellowish, or brownish. And the structure, some shorter, some taller, bone structure, all changes during that 50,000 year span based on where they lived. That is big picture example of climate producing materiality in our bodies. The climate change, the material product in our body, to cope, to adapt, to adjust with new temperature, new pressure, new humidity, which are constant, almost constant for a certain region. Modern day immigrants from tropical countries to temperate and cold countries. Let's say an immigrant who emigrated about a decade ago, shows changes in lighter color skin tone and changes in metabolism. That is only within about 10 years. It changes. Similar effect can be seen in people who had moved from temperate regions to hot and tropical regions. Their skin become a little darker, a little smoother. These are the, let's say, midterm and temporary production of materiality due to climate. I use the word temporary because if they move back to where they were born, it changes back too. That's what I mean by temporary. But over 40, 50,000 years, that become permanent because they settle in those areas. Long term, mid term, Let's see how short term we can figure this climate influence. See, in the cold climate regions, we hear quite often about frostbite of your feet, of your fingers. They fall down because of the frostbite. Frostbite is the climate-borne materiality due to long exposure to sub-zero temperature. People who climb Mount Himalayas up there, even with all the protections, some came down with frostbite in the hands and in the feet. Some has to be amputated. And also severe dehydration under the hot desert sun. Severe dehydration, your whole lips, mouth, every pores, they become dried out. That is a climate change materiality, climate producing materiality. And we have heard quite often, whenever a certain region has a higher than usual or normal temperature, quite a bit, we heard about heat stroke and some people die. That heat stroke is due to climate. And the material produced in the body to give heat stroke and even to death is a climate-borne materiality. Some people catch pneumonia under very cold weather, not properly dressed. Your lungs, your chest under very cold temperature. You catch pneumonia and you could die. That's also climate-borne materiality in the body. So these are some of the climate-borne materiality in a relatively short period of time. So there we put 3 time span. One is a long, 30, 40, 50,000 years. One is a short-term, relatively short-term or mid-term, about a decade or 2. And the last one is almost instant, within hours or within days. These material that produced in the body, the new material that produced in the body due to climate. And that's one of the cause of how rupa, matter, materiality is produced in the human body due to Uttu, climate. Previously we have discussed karma-born materiality and consciousness-born materiality. So I like to weave it here a little bit to show how things are connected. So when we are migrating from one area to the other, especially like tens of thousands of years span, immigrants learn and think in a new way. They learn new things, think in a new way, and do new activities to adapt and overcome the physical and social environmental challenges they faced Whenever you go in the earlier times or even nowadays, we move to a new country, we have to learn new things, adapt to new culture, new tradition, wear a different kind of clothing to cope with the new climate. So these are the challenges we face, immigrant face. And during those periods where one is learning how to cope with the new environments and the difficulties of the new region, one is developing a new mindset. When you are coping, you are thinking, adapting. That is a mindset. You are producing a new mindset because of the new challenges. But it is an everyday, every hour situation. So it becomes a pattern, a new pattern of mindset to cope with both physical and sociological challenges. This new mindset also produces a new set of mind-made materiality. See, one's connected to the other, nama and rupa, matter and mind. No, not only with the matter within the body, but matter from the outside world, such as climate. So, new mind-born materials are always producing based on the pattern of your mindset. New climate-born materials are producing based on the conditions of the new environment that's one immigrated to. So we weave in how mind-born materiality are also interrelated and connected with climate-born, environmental-born materiality. That should be sufficient to understand what climate-born materiality is. And the last one is called ahara. Literally it means food. But specifically it means nutrition. Food or nutrition. That is the fourth cause of how material are produced in one's body. Food or nutrition. Nutrition-born materiality is easy to observe and explain because we are obsessive about food. So we know quite well about food. The food that we consume is always producing new materiality, such as new cells, new blood, new muscles, new bones in the body, growing or fading away. Always producing new materiality, and it is directly related to the qualities of nutrition one is consuming. Let's say we eat a lot of oily, buttery, fatty, and trans fat food. That's the diet. And if we are eating that kind of a diet or food, it will produce high blood cholesterol, which predisposed a person to clogged arteries and heart disease. if we eat oily, fatty foods. If we take too much sugar and sweets, it will produce high blood sugar. And I think this medical word is called high triglyceride. Simply, it produces diabetes and cancer and many other diseases. That's a high sugar food. And all these changes are due to the food that you consume. In other words, food, ahara, producing materiality. If one takes too much salt and salty food, it will produce high concentration of sodium in the blood, which can lead to high blood pressure, kidney problems, etc., etc., etc. You can check under Google what kind of disease will produce because of the high salt. And these are ahara producing materiality or matter. On the other hand, if you eat nutritious food such as leafy green vegetables, low fat, less sugar, and low salt food, it can contribute to a better health and longer life, because they are producing good materiality in the body. These good materiality in the body support the immune system, suppress the disease, suppress cholesterol build-up, and so on. That's also a food producing materiality. These are the few examples of nutrition-born or nutrition-made materiality in our body. It's ahara, nutrition, food. These are the four causes of how material in our materiality or material in our body, rupa, are made. The first one, karma-made materiality, belong to the past lives. It's all the karmic actions, volitional activities of the past life. The second, consciousness-born materiality. It belongs to the present moment. The third and the fourth are the conditioning factors of the physical and social environments we live in. Physical environment and social environment we live in is always conditioning what type of materiality will be producing in the bodies. Each materiality is not exclusive of the others. They are interdependent activities working together hand in hand. One can influence the other, one can erase the other, one can support the others. That is why the Buddha said, our body materiality, such as modern words, DNA, cells, the chemicals in our blood, and the matter, They are caused by one, karma. 2, consciousness, citta. 3, climate, uttu. And the 4th, food or nutrition, ahara. So this is a Buddhist set how material in the body are made due to 4 main causes over 2,500 years ago. Karma, some people think karma is your fate. You have to live this life according to your karma. That's what some people think. So it is more like a fate, ill fate or good fate. Or if you think in a negative way, your life is a doom scenario. You have no choice based on what you have done in the past. You will be giving it back. You will be suffering, doomed, ill-fated scenario. Some people think that way when it comes to karma. Yeah, in a way it is right, but not completely right, not completely true. Basically, this karma gives us the roadmap designed by the volitional activities of past life. Volitional activities of past life design a roadmap for this life, for us in this life. We can simply heedlessly follow the same roadmap designed by the karma. That's one option. Or we can clear a new path by ourselves. We can construct, dig in a new path, a new road, where obstacles and difficulties arise in our life. These obstacles and difficulties are designed roadmap of the past, but we don't have to follow that road. We can take a detour or build a little path around the difficulties to overcome it. We can build a new road, a new path, a new detour, wherever there are obstacles and difficulties. And this new path can be accomplished, can be built by mindfulness with wholesome and wise attention, yoniso manasikara, wholesome actions, wise attention, mindfulness. With these, we can carve out a little new path around that difficult zone. Mindfulness, wholesome actions, kusala, and wise attention. That can soften the blow of the past karma, negativities, or even compounded and uplifted. The good karma activities can be uplifted by these. You have a choice. You can change, but only at the present moment. If you remember Buddha's last word to his bhikkhu, to his monks, which means us as well, all human, basically intended for human race. His last word is Apamadena Sampadeta. In short, live heedfully. Live heedfully. By living heedfully, you can soften the blows of the past negative karma, and you can even compound it and uplift it and make it brighter, the good karma from the past. Live heedfully. May all of you be able to live heedfully and produce new good karma for yourself as well as the human society as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.